it doesn't mean I am breaking down. But I couldn't figure out how to separate it, because generally speaking, I was being hired to be slivers of myself. Everything just feels personal, and you feel naked and completely vulnerable and humiliated.
For Tyler Perry to admit he did start a rumor that I was difficult to work with.
Gabrielle Union was never known for causing drama or burning bridges. But 13 years ago, she made a bold move. She walked away from one of the biggest powerhouses in Black Hollywood and never looked back. Now, after staying quiet for over a decade, Gabrielle is finally spilling the truth, and it's way deeper than low paychecks. What she witnessed behind closed doors left her shaken and furious.
Step up and question more. And it was in the questioning amongst greatness that I was like, this feels great. I feel like I did something here.
It wasn't just about her, it was about how the women around her were being treated. She tried to speak out. She tried to stand up. But in Tyler Perry's empire, and under Oprah Winfrey's massive influence, being real like that comes with a price. And Gabrielle paid it in full.
Never settle for anything less than what I want and what I deserve.
This wasn't some messy public fight or tabloid feud, no. It was way more strategic, quiet, icy. The kind of Hollywood fallout nobody wants to admit happens, because out there, keeping your mouth shut isn't just about playing nice, it's a survival tactic. And Gabrielle, she chose not to play that game anymore. The last time she showed up in a Tyler Perry movie was way back in 2012. Since then, nothing. No cameos, no guest spots. Not even a quick walk-on in his billion-dollar Atlanta studio for someone who used to be right in the mix. Her absence is loud. And now, after 13 long years, Gabrielle is finally breaking the silence. She's laying it all out. You stand up for nothing, you'll fall for everything. And where it all started might not shock you. Like most Hollywood stories, it began with money or more, like how little of it was being handed out. Gabrielle Union isn't staying quiet anymore, and she's making that crystal clear. She's now one of the loudest voices in Black Hollywood when it comes to unfair pay. At the 2025 American Black Film Festival, during Ali's Sisterhood and Savings panel, she let loose. She didn't sugarcoat it. Gabrielle shared how her team used to say, "No, that's a great number for you," and then it hit her. For me, compared to who? Compared to what? That little phrase stopped sounding friendly and started sounding shady real fast. Behind the scenes, something powerful was brewing. Gabrielle linked up with her trusted crew Regina Hall, Nia Long, and Regina King. And they weren't just catching up. They were comparing contracts, who was getting paid what, who was being lowballed, who was getting pushed out while someone else got bumped up. This wasn't about landing just any gig anymore. It was about protecting their worth, their legacy, and demanding real economic justice. Gabrielle even recalled a moment that made her blood boil while working on a major project. She found out the second lead was making more than her.
I put in the same hours as most men, and if not more, and I deserve to get paid the same. Equal pay, equal work, and that's how it should be.
Moment wasn't rare either. In Black Hollywood, it was way too women constantly getting sidelined, even when they were the stars of the show. But Gabrielle and her circle didn't just vent about it, they took action. They got organized. They laid down the rules. They even turned down roles. Everyone had their strategy, and they stuck to it. And guess what? It worked. Studios had no choice but to crawl back to the table, and yes, number one finally got the paycheck she deserved. But that victory came at a price, especially in Tyler Perry's world, where silence is golden and control is everything. Still, Gabrielle didn't back down. She started speaking out even more, breaking open the secrets behind contracts and calling out shady deal structures out loud. Gabrielle Union became the one everyone called when things got sketchy. Young actresses started reaching out when those questionable contracts landed on their desks, and she schooled them how to push back, how to say no, how to walk away with their dignity intact. But every time she helped another woman get stronger, Gabrielle found herself drifting farther away from Hollywood's power players, especially the ones who had their names on the buildings. This wasn't some messy beef or Hollywood catfight. It ran way deeper than that. Gabrielle wasn't just stepping away from Tyler Perry. She was walking out on a whole system that only showed her love when she stayed quiet and played nice. And the second she stopped playing by their rules, boom, she stepped straight into something way darker, that hidden blacklist no one wants to admit exists. In Hollywood, asking the wrong questions can cost you everything. She wasn't alone. Either across the industry, black actresses were getting quietly punished for knowing their worth, and Gabrielle's voice, it was getting louder and scarier to the ones in control. She said it best herself. The fake support disappears fast when you stop accepting crumbs. The minute you set boundaries or say, "I'm not working for less than I deserve," suddenly you're not inspiring anymore. Now you're difficult. And in Tyler Perry's inner circle, that label doesn't come off easy. Gabrielle wasn't imagining it. The whispers got real. Roles vanished without warning. Writers dropped overnight for asking about union rights. She'd seen it happen. House of Pain writers gone. Meet the Browns crew replaced, and it was always the same pattern. In her world, the message was loud and clear. Speak up, yeah, and you might be next. And standing in the middle of it, all Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey, billionaires with public platforms all about empowerment. But behind the scenes, Gabrielle started to see the cracks. That support they preached, it seemed to vanish the moment you stopped staying silent. Everything shifted the moment Gabrielle Union started speaking up. When she stayed quiet, the support was there. But the second she asked real questions, it disappeared fast. She never had to call Tyler Perry or Oprah monsters. She didn't need to. The pattern said it all loud and clear. They knew the rules of the game and they weren't trying to break them. While Hollywood showered Perry with praise for building a studio and hiring black talent, Gabrielle was looking deeper. Her question was simple but sharp. At what cost? And more importantly, who gets left behind? Gabrielle wasn't just talking about herself when she opened up about pay gaps and being pushed to the sidelines. She was throwing up warning signs for everyone. And by 2024, it was clear she wasn't the only one watching the system fall apart from the inside. That's when actor Christian Keys dropped a bombshell out of nowhere.
He showed up to my apartment and offered me $100 grand to take my clothes off. He said, I don't even need to touch you. I just want to see you.
He wasn't a newbie. Keys was respected, an actor, writer, and the co-creator of All the Queen's Men, a hit Bet Plus show produced by none other than Tyler Perry Studios. And even though he never dropped names directly, his story had people putting the puzzle together real quick. He described being targeted by a billionaire filmmaker. He talked about secret cash offers, recorded conversations, and hush money deals hitting six figures. Keys claimed he had receipts, actual tapes. He even said he'd been followed, and he hinted loudly that the abuse wasn't just personal. It was built into the system, calculated, cold.
Sell my soul or my... Excuse my French, y'all. I know some of y'all, hopefully y'all don't have no kids around, but I didn't sell nothing for success.
Every sign pointed to one man, Tyler Perry. Keys never said it outright, but maybe he didn't have to. The internet caught on instantly. Then came another twist. Just days after Keys' video exploded online, a TikTok clip from actor Brandon JJ popped up and it only added more heat.
Perry comes in, everything changes. So we literally run the entire episode for him and he hates it. Does that mean I have to learn a whole new script? Yes, that's what it
His story was different, but the vibe was way too familiar. He said he auditioned to play a regular high school kid, just a simple role, a bullied teen. But on shoot day, everything flipped. Perry allegedly changed the entire storyline on the spot without telling him. Suddenly, Jay's character was rewritten as a gay teen with a crush on his bully. No heads up, no prep, no chance to process. And when Jay tried to speak up, he was told point blank, adapt or leave. The director is kind of standing on the side like, you better do it, because if not, they will fire you, Jay recalled. No warning, no consent, just pressure to fall in line or get out. That wasn't direction. That was straight up coercion. This wasn't just about inappropriate changes, it was about power. The kind of control that can flip a script in a second. The kind of pressure that turns a job into a threat. And Gabrielle Union had been warning us about this for years. Now, the proof was pouring out in the open. People started wondering if Perry could do that in front of cameras. What was really going on behind the scenes? Gabrielle didn't need to speak on the Christian Keys situation. She stayed quiet. But the message, it was already out there. The industry was finally starting to catch up to what she'd been signaling all along. Hollywood doesn't protect the ones who need it. It protects the ones who run it. And Gabrielle, she was done playing nice in that game. She had spent years watching her peers get torn down, underpaid, recast, rewritten, or just straight up tossed aside. But when she saw how far the machine would go to silence women who didn't fall in line, that's when everything shifted for her. It wasn't just about stepping back from Tyler Perry. It was about walking away for good. And her breaking point wasn't some explosive argument or viral moment. It was the slow, steady grind, the subtle shade, the blatant unfairness, the freezing cold reactions whenever she dared to speak her truth. That's what pushed her out for good. And she wasn't the only one feeling that chill. Tiffany Haddish knew the silence, too. At one point, she and Tyler Perry were tight like public tight. She hosted his dinners, popped up at his parties, moved in all the same Hollywood circles. But when Haddish got hit with a messy lawsuit, a case that was later tossed out and proven baseless, guessed what happened? Everyone vanished.
Everything. All my gigs gone.
Really?
Everything gone.
His face, you know?
I don't know, bro.
Especially Perry. Not a single person from Tyler Perry Studios stepped up to defend her. No public words of support. Nothing. Even after she was cleared, Gabrielle took note. She saw exactly how those so-called powerful friends moved when things got messy. The silence was loud. The loyalty, fake. And Perry wasn't just icing out women behind the scenes. He was doing the same to the very writers who helped build his empire. Remember when 4 writers from House of Pain got fired just for asking for union contracts? Yeah, that was Tyler Perry. And when the Writers Guild of America called him out for unfair labor practices, did he apologize? Nope. Did he try to work things out? Not even close. Instead, Perry doubled down and made a big, bold announcement. He would write every single episode of every show all by himself. Some folks clapped like it was genius, but to people like Gabrielle Union, it didn't scream brilliance, it screamed control. It looked like fear. Fear of giving up credit, fear of being challenged, and most of all, fear of having to pay people what they actually deserved. Gabrielle had been paying attention. She'd watched how studios handed out checks, and the pay scale wasn't just random black women were getting the short end again and again. White women, black men, they were getting more, and they were getting it faster. She saw what happened to Monique, too, punished for simply asking to be paid for her time promoting a film, labeled difficult for wanting fair treatment. Gabrielle wasn't shocked. She'd seen the pattern too many times. She was just over it, because every time she opened her mouth, someone would lean in and say, "That's a great number for you," and she finally understood what that meant. It meant, be grateful you're even allowed in the room. But Gabrielle, she wasn't begging anymore. She was building her own damn table. Tyler Perry might have been the first to let Gabrielle down, but he definitely wasn't the only one. Right next to him stood someone she once looked up to. A woman who built her legacy on kindness, on lifting others up, on giving the voiceless a platform, Oprah Winfrey. Gabrielle had admired her. She believed in that message of sisterhood and support. So when things got messy, she looked around, hoping Oprah would speak out, offer backup, say something. But Oprah nowhere to be found. Her silence didn't feel like neutrality, it felt intentional. Gabrielle started to see it for what it really was. Oprah's silence wasn't just quiet, it was calculated. And Gabrielle Union wasn't the only one peeping the silence or feeling the sting. Monique had already been sounding the alarm years before anyone else caught on. Once celebrated by Oprah herself, Monique's fall from grace started in 2009 right after Precious blew up. She gave a powerhouse performance, took home an Oscar, and then got hit with a difficult label. Why? Because she refused to do unpaid international press she was never contracted to do. She stuck to her agreement, kept it professional, and made it crystal clear she wasn't going to work for free. And just like that, everything flipped. Behind the scenes, Monique says Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, and Lee Daniels teamed up to shut her out of the game. She claims Perry straight up lied to executives, calling her problematic and refusing to correct it even after admitting in private that it was a lie. Monique didn't just lose gigs. She lost over a decade of her career. According to her, she was pulling in $2 to $3 million a year before the fallout. That adds up to tens of millions gone, all based on a lie. Perry admitted behind closed doors but never owned up to publicly.
Do you know, Shannon, that's cost my family tens of millions of dollars?